It's the 10th anniversary of the Colorado Freedom Memorial, and she is looking for RSVPs.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
I will certainly be there. Let's see here. Yeah, it's on my calendar already.
Thank you.
And Brooke, do we typically share that out through socials and like the city's communications network?
We will share that out. They do have a specific, the specific invitation she shared is for the special dignitaries and guests, where they have reserved seating, but we will be advertising the event for the public.
All right, great, thank you. Okay.
And we can, Councilmember Marcano, we can get you, I'll see what type of media we have that you all can share on social media.
Yeah, great,
Perfect.
thank you. All right, any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to agenda items. So first up is 4A.
And it looks like Councilmember Medina has joined us. My apologies.
I will go ahead and hand it off to Councilmember Medina.
You're doing fine. You know, get on, so I don't know what's the issue with it, but yeah, so we've already gone through announcements, so I guess the agenda item 4A, neighborhood park renaming, so go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is Nicole Ankeny, and Kurt and I are having some technical difficulties, so if you would please give us just a moment.
No problem.
Adrian and Lauren, Laura Perry's had problems too. She's on her phone, and it sounds like Nicole has the same issues.
I'm glad it wasn't just me.
No, it's everybody.
Gotta love WebEx.
All right, so let's do this then. I will go ahead and advertise it to the group. Let me give you my cell number, and anybody that's emailing you or IMing you, you can just give it out to me, and we'll hook it up. So it's 303-548-7955. I don't normally do that to a group of 17, but that is my cell, and I will be glad to walk anybody in and through, and we'll go.
Adrian, what was the first 3 digits? I have the 548-7955. What were the first 3?
It's 303. I got an OG phone number.
Okay, we've got that passed on to Nicole and Kurt. Brooke, are you able to send it to Laura, or I can do that as well?
Hey, Lauren, I'm okay. I'm on my phone. I can see it.
Okay.
I think the issue is my laptop, not necessarily my backs.
No worries. Yeah, we did just try the webinar feature for the first time this month, so that's probably why we're experiencing some issues for several people. But we'll work on them with Adrian to ensure they don't continue next month.
Okay, do we have Kurt and Nicole ready?
I think so, yeah. I was one of the persons that was having difficulty logging in, but I'm here in Nicole's office, so We'll begin the PowerPoint presentation, and still, Lauren, if you can drive the presentation, I'll just tell you when to switch from slide to slide. I'd appreciate it.
Sounds good.
So good morning, members of the committee. My name is Kurt Bish. I'm a planning supervisor in the Planning, Design, and Construction Division of the Pros Department. And the item that I have before the committee this morning is a proposed name for a new neighborhood park that will be coming online. Next slide, please. So within Aurora, we grow and expand our park system in two basic ways. One, developers, when they're preparing their master plans, they have the option to choose whether they want to own and maintain and also design and construct parks. In those cases, the parks are reviewed by the Planning, Design, and Construction Division. We will approve those, but then once they're built, they're retained by usually a metro district that owns and maintains them. The other way in which our system grows as development occurs is the developers elect to design and build the parks, but then turn them over to the pros department to own and maintain. So this discussion this morning is the latter. It's a park that's under construction today and is going to be maintained by us. The next slide. So the park we're talking about currently is just referred to as PA 13 Neighborhood Park, which isn't a very catchy name. It's just because that's how it's identified in the developer's master plan. So the developer is Oakwood Homes. The development is Green Valley Ranch East, which is located in Northeast Aurora. It's identified on this map, outlined in yellow. And it's located between Piccadilly Road and E470. Also, 48th Avenue basically cuts through or will cut through the entirety of this development once the development is built out. So also on this map, you can see the triangular shaped red spot. That represents the neighborhood park that we're talking about this morning. Next slide. So here we're zooming in a little bit closer to the Green Valley Ranch East development. On the left-hand side of the slide, you can see again the triangular shaped park. It's located adjacent to, and the image just disappeared. I hope everybody else can still see it.
Yeah,
Is
we can
that
still see
true?
it.
Everybody else can see it?
Yep.
Okay. Well, Nicole's doing something. It's back on our end as well. So this neighborhood park is located adjacent to a main drainage corridor that passes through the development. It's called Tributary T. On the opposite side of this drainage corridor is a park that we brought forward to City Council in the fall of last year to officially name it. Some members of the committee might recall that this is Windy Plumes Park. Again, it was a park that was designed and is under construction by Green Valley Ranch East, and we will own and maintain it as soon as it's turned over to us. So again, Windy Plumes Park, these two parks will be connected by a pedestrian bridge that crosses this drainage corridor. On the right-hand side of the slide, you can see again a closer view of the park that we're talking about today. It's identified there as filing 12, but that's just for development purposes. Again, currently it's just referred to as planning area 13. Next slide, please. On this slide, the image that you see on the right side is oriented a little bit differently. So previously, it was oriented in a north-south orientation. Here it's twisted a little bit towards the left, north being on the left-hand side of the image and east being on the top of the image. But this shows in a little bit more detail what the intended development character of this park will be. It's quite a bit different from Windy Plumes Park on the opposite side of the channel, in the sense that Windy Plumes is a traditional neighborhood park with more active recreation facilities, whereas this particular park is going to be more passive in nature. It's going to have some undulating landforms, water-wise landscape, multiple trails that wind throughout the park. So the master plan was approved in 2019 for this park. The construction drawings have already been approved, and construction is supposed to occur in 2024. Next slide. Oh, we lost the image again. How did you get that back? Oh,
Park naming policy slide.
Okay.
yeah, the park naming policy. Thank you. So the city does have a policy that was established in 1993, I believe it was, for how to go about naming city-owned parks. So we're following that policy, and the procedures call for a name that can be brought forward to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. It's then passed through to the city manager's office for city council to consider for approval. So we asked for some ideas from the consultant and the developer on what the future name for this park would be. They gave us multiple names, and then we kind of perused those internally, narrowed it down to one name, which we're bringing forward to the committee this morning. And it was this. Next slide, please. So the name Wander Park is what's being recommended this morning. It was taken to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board on April 5th. They agreed on that name and agreed to forward it to the committee for their consideration. And if the board agrees today, the next step would be for it to go forward to the city manager's office for it to then be scheduled for a study session presentation. Next slide. And so the question before the committee this morning is, do you wish to advance Wander Park as the name for Green Valley Ranch East PA 13 Neighborhood Park for City Council's consideration? And the reason why we're asking for it to be Wander Park is because, again, like I said earlier, the park is going to have multiple trails that wind through the park, and it gives a lot of opportunities for visitors, park visitors, to wander through the park. So we thought that would be an appropriate name.
Thank you for the presentation. Councilmember Marcano, do you have any questions?
No questions. I think it's a good name.
All right. Councilmember Murillo, I know your voice is, so you can text that if you got anything done for her. I have none either, so I think it's makes sense the way you did. At first I had to think about it, and then when I saw the drawings, and that's gonna, I got the gist of it after that. So yeah, well, I'm
Sure.
fine with that as well. So I think unanimous. Go ahead and push it forward.
Sounds good. Thank you. Sorry for the awkwardness with the presentation.
No problem. We've all had problems there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right, we'll go on to item 4B, pros water conservation update.
John, this is Brooke. Are you able to connect? There we go. Yes, we can hear you, John.
Okay, good. There you go. Hi, today we're going to be talking about the pros turf conversions of 2023 and what that means for our water conservation efforts. Pros has been working on water conservation and reducing our water footprint since 2019. And this is a picture of the Aurora Sports Park, and it's a great example of converting turf to native. As it says, it's the entrance. So it's one of those areas that was never intended for recreational use. So it was an easy decision to convert to native here. And this is a really great picture, I think, of it, showing how well a native landscape can look. Next slide. So what have we done so far? We have converted over 38 acres of Kentucky bluegrass to native grasses. And we've also taken advantage of some of the newly developed Bermuda grass called Tahoma. And it's showing promising results in Park Lane Park and one of the ball fields at Highline Park. And we'll be sharing some of those slides later down in the presentation. Our plan for this year is to convert 20 to 25 acres of Kentucky bluegrass into either native or Bermuda grass. Other projects that we're going to be doing to help reduce our water footprints are working to convert a few fire stations to a fire-wise xeric landscape, using planting methods from the Denver Botanic Gardens and exploring new and different kinds of plants that are xeric and have the potential to thrive in some of our tough environments. One of those areas that we've used the Denver Botanic method is in front of the courthouse, and there's a few more plants that need to be filled in, but we think that's has some good progress there. Next slide. So here are the pictures of turf to native conversions that we've done already. On the top, you can see Sand Creek Greenway, and on the bottom, you can see Bicentennial Park. Once again, these are areas that have been low traffic and no recreational value or use there. Not a whole lot of people will be walking in those areas. And as you can see, just in the first year with the seed mixes that we have and the irrigation that we have in those areas, we can make a pretty good impact even in our first year, how things are growing in. So it can look with irrigation in those areas, it does take off pretty quickly and can have a good product in the first year to get established. Next slide, please. On this slide here, we're just calling out the park sites that we are planning to convert to native turf this year. It's a total of 15 acres, and that will be converted with 22 acre-feet water reduction once these conversions are completed. And we've showed it here to be spread out through the wards. Ward 1 is Lowry Park Central Facilities. Ward 2, Triangle Park, Cottonwood Park, Beck Recreation. Ward 3, Arkansas Pond, Jewel Wetlands. Ward 4, Mexico Radio Tower and South Satellite Facility. And Ward 5, La Parquita Park, Summer Valley Park, and the Buckley and Isle of Medians. Next slide, please. This is the Tahoma Bermuda grass that was installed in 2022 at Park Lane. And in areas that we're testing the Bermuda grass, they're high traffic areas and ball fields. And so far, we see that the results have been fairly positive. Obviously, Bermuda is different than Kentucky bluegrass, and we'll go over some of those differences really quick. But it sure looks good. I mean, from these pictures here, I don't think, unless you're the expert, and I'm sure, and we have some experts here from my staff, but that fall 2022 picture, looks really good to me. So next slide, please. So the results that have been so positive and encouraging, we are promoting we're proposing to convert another 8 acres into Bermuda grass, and that'll be at Park Lane Park, Delmar Park, and Highline Park. And some of the benefits that I was talking about, the reduction of water, 1.33 acre feet, which equals about water supply for 3 households. We can reduce our mowing, the frequency by about 50%, and we reduce fertilizer by 33%. So the benefits, we're saving water, we can reduce our fertilizer costs, and then our maintenance footprint, we don't have to mow as often. And total, we have a water reduction of 9 acre feet. So next slide. So these are the areas that we are proposing. We're going to call them out and just kind of show what those areas are and what it will look like once we've converted to Bermuda. This is Park Lane Elementary. We're going to be converting about 2 acres, and you can see the highlighted area there that we're going to be converting to Bermuda grass in that area. Next slide. Delmar Park. we're taking advantage of some construction that's going on there right now. And instead of putting it back into Kentucky bluegrass, we are going to be switching it out to the Bermuda grass, and that's going to be the footprint for the conversion areas there, with a savings of 5.05 acre feet. Next slide, please. And Highline Park field number 4. It's another ball field that we're going to be converting, and we hope that that it'll hold up to the traffic and have that a good playing surface in the future for this field. Next. So with changes, there always needs to be a communication plan. And we're going to also work with Aurora Water on this as well as our marketing group here in Pros. The public campaign will include social media posts, News Aurora in the water letter, and pieces on Aurora 8 channel. Also, out in the field, we plan on putting signs highlighting the projects and the benefits of the projects of what we're trying to do with water conservation. And that would be emphasizing long-term sustainability and short-term drought response. So we've had a great relationship with Aurora Water. We've been working on for this a long time, and I'm really proud of the efforts that we've been doing and the way that we've been going through working to, conserve water and reduce our water footprint. And next slide. That is the end of my presentation. So if there are any questions, I'm free to take questions.
Committee members, Councilmember Marcano, you have any questions?
Questions for me? I'm just excited to see this conversions happen.
I thought it was a Teams, but I figured since I'm here, it'd be.
Councilmember Murillo, any questions? That it looks good from what I can see. I just have a question about Bermuda grass. Is that something that could be, is that available to like residents?
Dan, you've been working with the vendors. Can you answer that question?
Yeah, currently it's sold at Green Valley Turf. They hold the license, so anybody can get that for residential or commercial. But there's other places that have a sub license from Green Valley Turf as well.
I was just curious because I was just thinking that, that people that currently have grass like myself, is it possible to convert that? So.
Yeah, right. I'm actually going to be doing it in my yard this summer. So, yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the presentation, and thanks for all the work you guys have been doing to conserve water, which I know is a big thing. And since we're in Parks and Rec, I know we want to keep things green and people to be able to walk on it, sit on it, lay on it as well. But during these times, I think we need to do as much conservation as we can. So I appreciate all you guys' work and keep it up. So thank you.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes, ma'am.
I would also like to add that the Pros operation and maintenance staff are currently working on resetting all of their irrigation clocks. And they have a target reduction of 20% irrigation over last year, reduce their water irrigation amounts by 20% based on the drought designation. So they've all been working very hard on replacing controllers, improving the irrigation systems, resetting clocks to be ready for that when they turn on the water. So they've done an extraordinary job already this spring. So I wanted to highlight that. And then also I do know that Aurora Water shares with the development community the Tahoma grass product with them, recommending that they use that on the properties that they're building as well.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, we'll move on to the next piece, which is any miscellaneous matters for consideration. Anyone from staff? Anyone from the committee? Seeing none. Topics for next meeting.
Councilmember Medina?
Yes, ma'am.
So from the pro side, the items that I have that we are working on and plan to bring forward next meeting are the teen center concept that you requested from the last meeting.
Okay.
Also from Councilmember Marcano, the Utah pool expansion, the request of an explanation of the look of the the items in the expansion and the costs associated with those, and he's heard several different costs, and so how can we provide clarity around those costs? So we'll be bringing back both those items. Also, we've been working on the rec fund restructuring and a financial feasibility analysis and fee study for recreation. And so we will be bringing that forward as well. So those are three pretty big items for next end of May.
All right, thank you. Appreciate all the work and hopefully we'll get some positive things coming out of those conversations next month. I look forward to that. So thank you everyone on staff for all the work you do. I certainly appreciated having been part of pros, and so I will continue to support as much as I can on my end. And any other questions or concerns from committee members? Being none, thank you, Councilmember Marcano, for kicking in for me while I was having some technical issues. So appreciate the help. Councilmember Murillo, hope your voice feels better, and take care. And we'll adjourn this meeting.
All right, take care, y'all.
Thank you.